Is this thing on?
Hello and welcome back to the SA Voice podcast by students for students. I'm Bryan, and today I'm joined by a couple guests. So first we have Monica Rafter-Sickling. She's a fitness lab assistant at SLC and a recent graduate. And Kira Parker-Oxford, who's a second year student in the fitness and health program. How are you doing, Monica?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm doing really well. Best we can do, doing considered of, everything, right? Kira, how about yourself? How are you doing today?
Not too bad. Yourself?
I'm doing pretty well. It's the sun's shining for once, which I think in middle November is a pretty beautiful sight. So, Kira, how's the year been going for you so far?
How's my year going so far?
Yeah.
It's going pretty good. It's a lot more difficult with COVID and everything because you're not always in class doing these things. But I'm thankful that we're still one of the programs that still get to be on campus for part of the week. So it's going pretty good so far.
Yeah, I can imagine that. Fitness. I've someone that's been trying to get back in shape myself over the summer. Fitness at home without the access to lab equipment or training or anything is definitely a little more difficult. But what can you do? Monica,
It's very difficult.
Yeah, Monica, how have you been finding it with dealing with the COVID restrictions and everything with working in this college?
It's definitely been really different. Like you mentioned, like trying to work out at home and things like that. Like it can be tough, like because it's like a smaller space and less equipment. Like you're lucky if you happen to have some equipment kicking around. But it's nice being back because like this summer I was like missing being here and things like that. And it's different also being back at the same time because I'm kind of like in the one end of the college almost by myself. And yeah. And there's like sensor lights outside the door and they're always off. So it's like, I feel like I'm living in a box when I'm here. But, and usually there's like students that come in and they're working on like different practicals and stuff and preparing a couple times a week. I'll have some students come in and practice or I'll have to bring over some equipment to the gym. But other than that, I'm just like, on my computer. So it's different, but it is nice being back and seeing some familiar faces.
Yeah, it definitely helps. I think everyone's just like enjoying being out of the house a little bit. So yeah, even if you're in a little bit of a box there, at least you're not sitting at home like a lot of people, unfortunately, these days.
Sure.
As I'm sure people can guess by now, we're talking about fitness and health today, and basically a healthy lifestyle. So, Kira, what is a healthy lifestyle to you?
So, there's so many ways that I can go about this, but basically a healthy lifestyle is anywhere from your nutrition to adequate sleep, healthy relationships, and of course being physically active. I don't think it really comes down to just one thing in general. I think it's just such a broad spectrum that there's so many ways you can be healthy, and that's what makes it a healthy lifestyle. So.
Yeah, I totally agree. Monica, what do you think with that?
Yeah, just touching on what Kira said, like it's like those three main where it's like healthy eating, exercise, sleeping, and then like having other aspects as well. It's like I'd also class like mental health is definitely a big one, and then kind of including like different things that contribute to that, like hobbies and stuff that you do on your spare time, just to kind of pick yourself back up and feel good and enjoy your time. Yeah.
No, I totally agree with that. Like the start of the summer, I was weighing about like 290 pounds. I'm now down to like 245 over like basically from July till now. And I did it by, like mixture of routine and like little things too, like, giving yourself the positive reinforcement and like having you set some hobbies and it all mixes together, right? But I think at the end of the day, it really is like eating's a huge part to me. Like cutting out those excess meals or those excess little portions of the plate, I think it's critical. But,
for sure.
So Monica, before you came into the program, were you always like healthy and active, or is it something you kind of came into later on in life?
Well, generally I was always pretty like physically active and healthy, just especially because my mom always was. So she kind of made it as a big priority for me growing up, and just kind of carried through like elementary school, high school. And then it was just like, I'm really interested in this and I'd really enjoy this as well. So it's like, I'd really like to expand on that and also share it with other people. So it kind of made me feel like, what, fitness and health is definitely up my alley. I think that's what I'd like to take.
Awesome. Yeah, it's definitely. When it's integrated in your life from an early age, it's definitely a lot easier to continue through. How about you, Kara? Were you an athlete in high school? Or you play sports now?
Yeah, I used to play a bunch of sports, mainly hockey in high school, and I was been pretty active all my life. I think it more came into being a healthy lifestyle when I got pretty sick and I ended up seeing a naturopath, and she kind of just really told me all about how there's other ways to be healthy, and it's just you should actually follow all of these things too, not just that physically active part. And I was like, oh, okay, maybe I should try it out. And then from then on, I've always been interested in this subject. So
For sure. Right, and you already touched on it. So like, what are some of the ways that she was talking with you about being healthier? Like,
well, I know for me, it was definitely getting a lot more sleep, because when you're playing competitive sports and doing homework all at the same time, it's a lot to put on yourself. So I know getting enough sleep was really a key component, because it gave you so much more energy and everything to get through the day. So
for sure. Do you try to integrate a healthy sleep style, like cycle into your life, Monica?
I try, like I wake up every I'm sure that's the answer for everybody. But, like I wake up at 7 every day, and then I have to be at work for 8:30. So it's like I try to get like at least 8 hours of sleep a night. Not always the case, but I do my best. I'd say I guess most often I do kind of reach that little goal, but yeah, sometimes I even kind of wake up and I'm like, yeah, I should have went to bed earlier, but it happens.
Yeah, I feel that entirely. So I work as a server as my little part-time job here, and I've been doing really good about waking up at like 6:30 in the morning, doing a workout, getting started my schoolwork around like 8:30, 9 o'clock. But now that I'm like working until 11, 12 o'clock at night, unfortunately that workout aspect's been dying off a little bit. I think it's been 2 weeks since I've done a workout. I'm like, I'm really starting to feel it. I'm losing that little bit of extra energy, so I gotta get back to that. But yeah, sleep. I totally agree. Sleep's important. Now, like routine. How important do you guys find routine in kind of creating a healthy lifestyle for yourself? Kira, what do you think about this?
um, I can say I definitely don't probably have a good routine going right now with like school and everything. It's just hectic. But I do agree that having a good routine is very helpful. It definitely keeps you on track way more, and you're more productive. Um, yeah, I also think it could lead to everything from like being able to say prep your meals in advance, so that leads into nutrition, or being able to go and sleep on time, so having enough sleep, all those things. I think it's a good thing to have a good routine, but can't say I am one of those people.
I feel that. Monica, how about yourself?
Yeah, I guess routine and goals kind of can go hand in hand a bit. It's like if you set like small goals, it's like, yeah, I want to go to bed at like 10:30. 11's pushing it, but I'm gonna try for 10:30, kind of thing. Or like here said, like making a lunch and things like that. It's like sometimes I'll be here like for 4 hours, sometimes I'll be here a little bit longer. So it's like kind of determining like, well, I need a lunch for this long. Maybe I'm gonna get kind of snacky or something. So maybe just in case. So it's like even just kind of making a structure for yourself to follow, I find can be beneficial. More times than not, I would say I do have a routine, and like when I get home, I'll usually, like if I'm here for 4 hours, like I'll go home and do like my little home workout kind of thing. So I think it's good to have like a balance of like structure and goals in your life to follow to a certain point.
Yeah, absolutely. One thing I found personally is that like I'm not like a slave to doing it in a specific order, but I find like I realize that I need a certain amount of things in my life. Like I need some time every week to read for fun, and then sometimes I need sometimes to like exercise, and I need sometimes obviously to meal prep. Meal prep's a big thing for me. Like I used to work as a cook for a lot of years, and I know that doing like large batch cooking and then breaking it down is so much more efficient, and you can calorie track and things like that. But you're not going to necessarily do it in the correct order, right? So today I woke up, had a nice little leisurely day, but I'm not going to beat myself up over not getting certain things done there in the morning, but I'm going to get it done later, because I know that that has to be integrated into my daily life to kind of be healthy and happy, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
I definitely agree with that though, because I know I create a lot of lists, and if I write one at the very beginning of the week, it helps me get through the week with getting everything done. It helps so much with that. So yeah, I definitely agree with that.
For sure. Are you a list maker, Monica, or do you kind of just go for like the mental mapping and other things?
Honestly, I'm a list maker too. I've been meaning to put it down in an agenda, but it's just kind of little notes on my phone and computer. I'm just like, I need to put these in one place.
Yeah, to actually call back an earlier episode I did, actually one of the first ones I did for this year. One of the other hosts and I, we were talking about a couple of different really interesting apps, Todoist and Evernote. They're both interesting little functions that like really useful. I've been finding over the course of the year, just to kind of like track what you're trying to do and just kind of organize everything, because yeah, life's hectic. Let's be real. So I guess because a lot of people you guys have the ability to be at school, but I know a lot of people are kind of worried about going to gyms and things these days. Do you have any kind of like ideas for people that are trying to stay fit or healthy at home?
Well, aside from being, you don't have to go to a gym to be physically active. There's a lot more things that you can do, such as like working out at home, or just going for a walk outside, heading out to the park, maybe just going for a quick jog. There's a lot of things that you can do aside from just going to the gym, and I think people should, just realize that it's okay to just go out for a walk. That's just as good as going for a 30-minute run. It's all right. As long as you're still getting out there and you're doing things and you're moving around, that's really all that matters.
I like that. Monica, what do you think about this?
Yeah, like going off of that, it's like there's a lot of things you can do outside and stuff like that, apart from using equipment. 'Cause it's like not everyone likes necessarily like going to the gym and things like that. So it's like even just honestly, looking up like YouTube videos. It's like if you like dancing, you can look up like Zumba or things to follow like that, or just like a music video or something and just dance around. Or they have like some active video games now too, like the Wii Fit or like Dance Revolution and stuff. So it's like even playing those, I know I sweat when I play those, but but yeah, and then it's like if you like doing yoga, like just move your coffee table out of the way or do some stretching. Or like if you do like for people who do like going to the gym and stuff, then if you do have some equipment at home, that's great. But there's also, and if you're not sure what to do if you don't have that equipment, like you can actually look up like different ideas or other different videos for like equipmentless workouts and stuff. So
I think that's perfect tip. Yeah, I've been doing, actually, you touched on the YouTube one perfectly. I've been doing some little YouTube yoga workouts, and that with combination of some body weight stuff. And as Kira was talking about taking a walk, like I was reading a study recently, and it's really fascinating how like basically 2 hours a week is like 2 hours a week in nature. It kind of gives you an optimal amount of time where you actually start appreciating things more, and you get into a better mental headspace, and you actually are able to retain information better. So like you said, people go for a walk. Seriously, find some green space, go in a park, throw a frisbee around. You're going to feel a lot better just mentally and physically. So
actually, there's just on the road at the Cataraqui Conservation Trails, I know they do these nature walks, and basically it's just for mental health and awareness for that. And after you go on it, you feel so much more energized, and it helps so much with just de-stressing and relaxing in the nature. So if people ever want to like go check it out, it's like really great thing to try out.
And so that's the cat conservation area?
Yeah.
Awesome. That's I didn't know about that. That sounds like a fantastic idea. Do you have any like kind of like fun places to get away from everything, Monica? Like exercise areas or just like walks you like to do?
I mean, it's nice. Like there's a couple like trails locally. I know there's like Lemoyne's Point, and it's a pretty nice walk, and it's easy on the feet and stuff because there's like some nice flat trails and things, and it's really pretty. And there's also Parrots Bay that isn't too far away either. It's like just past Amhersview, like on the way to Belleville kind of thing.
Yeah.
Even just walking like downtown is nice, or out toward Napanee. Like the towns are really nice, and there's like a boardwalk out in Napanee as well. So, and it's a little bit of a tiny bit of a drive out there, but it's even nice just going for a drive to see it there as well. Yeah.
I totally agree with that. Yeah. As a fellow car person, it is nice. Like for the summer, I actually got I got one of the Ontario Parks passes. So I went to Picton a couple times before all the huge crowds, thank God, because I saw some pictures and I was nuts. But I went a couple times to Frontenac Park, and oh my God, the trails there are absolutely just stunning. And of course, like if I don't feel like driving for an hour, I go to Lemoyne's Point because it's just right down.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I also just thought of Charleston Lake and Gould Lake. Like there's a few like little parks around and stuff too.
Yeah. For car people, there's a lot of different ones. Honestly, and if people don't have a car, like just taking a walk along the water, like the Lake Ontario Park one, if you're on the Kingston campus, it's a really pretty little one. Like there's lots of places to go and find a little bit of green in your life, right?
Yeah.
So, Kira, how's your programming going? Like, I know you said it's a little bit different, but you find that there's like some nice progression in things, or
Some nice, sorry.
progression?
Um, yeah, it's nice. It's all right. It is a lot harder when you're stuck at home all day. So I know that getting out at least helps me to refocus and just come back to the same desk that I'm always in every day and back onto my work. So I think just like getting out more and just like saying, okay, I'm just gonna have fun and then I'll go back to that later. It's just a lot easier to do. So
Yeah, I think that's critical. Are you able to find that you're getting the same kind of interactions with people, Monica? Like, obviously, you're not going to see the same amount of people, but like, are you still able to kind of like have an imprint on students' lives as much, or?
Um, I mean, in very small doses, I guess. Like, cause once in a while, I know on Wednesdays, they'd have like a class for physiotherapy. And Kira, I think you were in one of those classes, right, with Scott? Yeah.
Mhm.
And so like, I'd see you guys sometimes, but I was more like in the corner over there with the lesson being taught, So I'm like, hey guys, just when you come in, basically it. But yeah, and like if one of our other professors, Grant, like if he was teaching in the gym or something, like I could run over and bring like some equipment over, or I actually helped him with some of the first year's practicals for functional movement screening, and I got to be the client for all the students, which was pretty fun. So I really, I enjoyed that, and I hadn't really gotten to officially meet the first year, so it was nice being able to like introduce myself and like see how they were doing. And they were nervous, of course, for their assessments, but they seemed really, really sweet. So it was really nice that I got to finally meet them in person.
That's fair. Yeah. Uh, as someone that comes from a teaching family, I know that that kind of interaction is like one of the joys, especially if you really want to be there for that. So I know that's got to be hard for you guys to like kind of be there, but not to be as integrated. So it's good that you're finding some ways to do this.
Yeah, thanks.
So how are you handling, like, how do you handle the kind of the stress and burnout factors, Kira? Like, are there some techniques you have, some ways to kind of keep yourself focused through all this?
yeah, for me at least, I was introduced by my other friend in the program to meditation, and
Nice.
actually I find if I do that for about just 5 minutes every day, it really allows me to just get all of my stresses out, and it allows me to refocus back on my work, because it's just I find it so hard to just focus all day for an extended period of time in the same environment, and it's just really hard. So I've been doing that, and it helps a lot, along with going out for walks and stuff too. So
Yeah. That brings us back to that mental health thing. Yourself, Micah, I said you brought up some of the YouTube videos. Are you a yoga person? Are you a meditator? Do you do anything like that?
Honestly, I'm not as much, but I would actually really like to get more into it. My mom has actually been trying to get me more into yoga because she does it every morning. And some of the poses I find kind of intricate, and I'm not flexible, so it can be pretty difficult. But I mean, I do enjoy it when I do it, and I can like after like I think I did it like a few days in a row one time, like a few like during the summer when there wasn't a lot going on, and I did find I was like, this is really like relaxing. I'm like, I don't know, just gradually getting more flexible, but it's like I could really do with some more, and I think it would really help my body too.
I feel that entirely. It's one of those things where, like, when you're looking up at the scope of something, it can be a little bit daunting sometimes. But actually, along that note, like, so what are some tips you would have to someone that's trying to move towards a healthy lifestyle, especially if they've been, kind of sedentary through the pandemic? Like, what do you think about it? How can people start working towards a little bit better life?
Well, I mean, just don't be discouraged if things aren't going as smoothly as you think that they might at first. Like for my yoga experience, it's like it's difficult, but it's like, well, don't stop just because it's hard. It just means that you just have to put some more time into it, some more effort. Um, so just if you are like trying something new, or if you are like trying to be more physically active and things like that, just take it one step at a time. Set your own pace. Like, don't pressure yourself, but just be like, like, this is what I want to achieve, and I'm just going to take the steps that I need to get there, and take it one step at a time.
I like that. Kira, do you have any thoughts on this?
Yeah, I'm with Monica on that, where really don't get discouraged because, you're not going to be perfect. Stuff's going to come up. It's just part of the daily routine. But I think if you just kind of forget about it that day and you say, hey, how about I just try it the next day and then go from there. It's always just better to do that. And I think the really important thing is just start small. Don't go into everything at once because it will be really difficult. But if you start small and just do little things here and there, I think it'll really help.
Yeah, I totally agree. As I've had some things I've been trying to work towards my life for like over a decade now. And, I find there are some things where like I'll do for 2 weeks and then I won't do for like a month or so. But like you keep them in your mind and you realize that, it's really about making those still small incremental differences. It really does work.
Yeah.
So I think we're getting close to running out of time here, folks. But is there anything else you want to talk about before we head out, Mark? Not to put you on the spot or anything.
Not at all. No.
Fine. Kira, do you have anything you want to say before we head out?
I don't think so. I just think, it's a really tough time for everyone right now. So I think mental health is definitely a big issue. It's just a lot harder on people. But I think if you're just getting out and about and you're trying to just keep busy or trying new things, I think it's a lot better for your mental health and really just, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, Monica, now that you're a little bit less on the spot, do you have any like last little parting words of wisdom or anything you want to shout out before we hit the road?
Yeah, I guess just for people who are maybe unsure about working out or something like that, or who are just kind of starting to get into it, it's like really just kind of look at the pros and the cons. It's like your body's a temple and it literally gets you from A to B and does everything for you. So it's really good to like treat your body respectfully and give it what it needs in order to perform at its optimal state. So just back to the basics, like just doing whatever kind of exercises like make you happy, or just going for a walk. Just what's important is just to get up and move, really, because that's what's really going to help. And eating like decent foods, you can treat yourself here and there and stuff like that, but don't like take out the greens, those are pretty important. And just getting enough sleep. So really just treat yourself the best that you can, and because this is the only home that you have, your body that you have. It's the only one, so you got to treat it to the best of your ability.
I think that's perfect. Like I read somewhere that working out isn't a punishment; it's a celebration of what you can do, and then you kind of carry that mentality. And it's like because it's about the process, right? It's not about getting there. It's if you can enjoy the process, if you can enjoy that walk, if you can enjoy that run, that yoga session, you're going to get a lot more out of it, and it's going to be good for your mental state and your physical body. And in the end, we're all just trying to make the best world we can and the best lives we can. And I think living a healthy lifestyle is a really big part of that. So thank you guys for both coming on here today. I think we got some really good information from both of you, and I think people will really benefit from this. As always, follow us on our social media channels. YouTube is The Voice Podcast, Instagram at SA Voice Podcast, and listen to us on SoundCloud, Spotify, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts.